Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about how buying JDM fishing gear in 2025 and 2026 is now completely different than how it was for every year before this. And it is a huge difference in price, and just a whole bunch of things have changed, and it's completely different. So all of the baits and rods and reels that were all super cheap with no import fees before this fall now all have these crazy import fees, and it's completely different, way more expensive. So I'm going to go over all of that in this video and explain if it's even worth doing anymore to buy stuff from over there. So I'm going to put the camera on the tripod and explain everything to you guys. So the first thing I wanted to mention in this is that this law got put into place in August of this year in 2025. And it's not really a law that got put in place. It is something called the deminimus rule, and this was suspended in August. And what that means is that before this August, anything you imported from a different country that was under $800, you did not have to pay import fees on top of like shipping and stuff like that. There was no customs bills or anything like that as long as it was under $800. And 95% of the stuff that you would buy online from Japan for fishing related items would be under $800 unless you're buying a ridiculous like DRT rod or something like that. So for example, I have bought countless reels and countless baits from Japan that are not available in the USA. For example, I'll show a few on the screen right now, like a couple DRT tiny clashes. I've bought tons of reels, Daiwa Calcuttas that are only the JDM exclusive ones, Calcutta DC, and Terry's, Accents, all of these other reels that I could not buy if I wanted to just buy them here in America. So it's not just that you get a better deal with them, it's buying stuff that is exclusive to Japan that you physically cannot get here in America. Before, that's why it was so good, especially for some of the cheaper stuff though. You could buy a used reel and it's barely used, but it's $200 cheaper than it would be to buy it new, especially if it was a reel even available in America. You could get it for a better price from Japan. But now that the de minimis rule has been suspended, that means that there is import fees and customs taxes on every single package that you buy, not just ones that are over $800. So my most recent purchase was a Shimano Calcutta Conquest DC, and this reel was $400 on the dot, which is a pretty decent price for one in such good condition like the one I bought. And now, before this August, I could have paid the $400 for that reel, and there was no shipping on it, and that would have been it. It would have showed up at my door within a week or two, and I could have used it. But I'll show you guys on the screen right now some emails, and of course I'll show the eBay listing of this reel is $400, but then from DHL, who is a shipping company, same as FedEx or UPS, I got an email saying, we have your package, and it's in America now. We will not deliver it to you unless you pay this $80 shipping fee from it being an import that we had to pay from getting it through customs or whatever. And this was originally, I'm pretty sure, introduced just to combat China, but it is affecting every country. It's not just China. So now buying literally a $10 bait from Japan could hit you with a $15 to $20 import fee, which basically makes buying that bait completely pointless. The two biggest companies that you will be seeing shipping your lures or rods or reels will be DHL and FedEx, and they both 100% of the time will add a processing / import tax fee, which makes the prices of these things that you're buying almost not worth buying if you're just trying to save some money. Now, I've seen some websites, I don't know some off the top of my head, but they are doing things along the lines of, we will pay for part or half of this duty / fee that you are having to pay to buy our stuff, because so many of their customers are from overseas here in America or in Canada for buying pike lures, stuff like that. Now, sometimes the fees aren't going to be absolutely insane. It might be $30 for a reel if you get lucky, but like I showed the example of it being an $80 import fee on a $400 reel already makes it just that much more annoying to deal with. There's a lot of baits that people love to fish with that are not that expensive if you buy them from Japan, but you literally can't get them in America because they could be out of stock, stuff like that. A lot of places like the Hookup Tackle have a ton of these baits, but a lot of times they're out of stock. So buying them straight from Japan from some of these tackle stores is now going to be not worth doing unless you really want to pay a lot more money for some of these baits due to these fees. Now, obviously this wasn't put in place to target buying and selling fishing lures from across the entire world, but it's one of the things that just got hit with it basically, and now we just have to deal with it, unfortunately. So now, instead of buying one bait, it's probably gonna be worth buying quite a few or a couple reels at a time, and just hoping the fees aren't too bad, because it's going to be worse if you order one item each time, because it's still gonna have to come through customs, so it's gonna cost more to do it several times instead of just doing a big order. But then who knows how bad the fee could be for ordering several items at a time. Basically, I just wanted to make this video just to let you guys know and warn you that if you did want to buy some stuff from Japan, that it is going to be way more expensive now, especially if you make several smaller orders instead of doing a big one. Buying from eBay is the main way I used to do this, because there were such great deals on so many different used items that you really couldn't beat buying that stuff instead of buying it new. So it's going to be pretty rough now trying to buy stuff just because of how expensive these fees are going to be. So I would definitely just look out for that. I'm going to head inside and look for a few of those websites I mentioned earlier that I know say they will pay for part of the shipping stuff. So I can mention them just so you guys know where you can buy from. But like I said, buying from eBay is pretty much going to be more expensive from now on. But I will be right back talking about some more of these other websites. So I'm inside now, it's a little bit later, and I did a little bit more research on different websites that would allow you to bypass these fees by paying upfront instead of having to pay a post-purchase fee through an email. And the main one I could find is that Digitaka is helping by paying 50%, and Digitaka is a very well-known company but for buying new JDM gear, so I would recommend using them. eBay's still going to be good, but unfortunately the fees are going to be pretty high. From what I've seen though, across different people's experiences, the more items you buy in one time doesn't necessarily lower the fee, but it's going to save you a ton of money in the long run. So if you were thinking about buying 2 reels over the next few years, you might just want to wait and buy them at the same time, and you'd save money on the fees because it goes by per package instead of per item in the package. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm not going to talk very much more, but that's all I wanted to do is warn you guys about when you're buying this, you will be getting an email just saying, hey, for this, at first you're going to think it's a scam, which a lot of people did at first. They're freaking out because it is crazy that it changes everything basically for pricing. So that's going to be it for the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.